was talking to my buddy at my son's jujitsu class tonight, and he has twins that are in class training, and they've been in for I want to say a little over a year, maybe longer. And I like talking to Ron because we have or he goes by Ronnie, um, because we seem to have a lot in common. He actually knows one of my cousins, but we get to talking about his kids, and I ask him because they're still really young. It's a boy and a girl, and they're twins. I said, "Hey, Ron, when did they start? Did they start getting into jujitsu? Because you started doing it. Did they get intrigued by it?" He said, "No, not at all. I made them do it." I said, "Oh yeah?" He says, "Yeah, I made them do it. They didn't have a choice." He's like, "Once I started, doing jujitsu myself, I told my wife that I want them to train because I wanted to prepare them early for the world because it's tough." And I like that because if you listen to this podcast, you know I'm pretty similar to that. And so we got to talking about how, kids are struggling with mental health and how it's a parent's job to basically teach their kids and instill mental toughness into them so they can grow and adapt to the world and are able to go out to the world and survive. And I started explaining to him that uh, when my kids are with me, that they are up at 5:30 in the morning, and we are usually at the gym between 5:45 and 6 o'clock, getting a 30-minute workout in on a school day. And I said, and when we're done with our workouts, we come back to the house and the kids take a cold shower. And he said, "Wow, dude, that's impressive." He's like, it's hard to do a cold shower during the summer, but are they taking the cold showers right now, like during the winters? Yep. He said, "Oh man, that is hard." And I said, "Yeah." I said, I taught them, I eased them in by doing a regular shower. And once they were done soaping up and cleaning their hair and whatnot, then we'd hit the timer and they would turn it all the way to cold and then they would just do it. I said, but now they're little savages. I said they just turn the cold water on and they go for it. And he said, "Man, I like that." He said it helps them, huh, for their mental toughness to get. I said, "Yeah, man, that's exactly what it's about." I said, when I started training them to do the 5:30 a.m. workout during the week, I said, you guys are going to probably hate me right now. I said, but I need to see if you can handle this. I need to see how you feel when you go to school. I want to test you out and you give me some feedback. And I said, "Ronnie, check this out. The first week we did this, I told my boys, go to school, tell me how you feel. Tell me if you're knocked down, tired, or if you have a lot of energy." I picked my kids up from school and they both tell me I was fine. I was wide awake. My energy was good. I wasn't tired, nothing. I felt good. I said, "Okay, now let me ask you something. Was that better than waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, rolling out of bed, putting your clothes on, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, eating your cereal, and then getting in the car and going to school?" And they both said, "Yeah, yeah." I said, "Why?" They're like, "I don't know. Like the shower wakes me up. And by the time it's time for us to go to school, we've already been up for a couple of hours. We did a workout, we took a cold shower, we ate, and we had time to get dressed and watch a little TV or whatever." I said, "Right. So you feel better?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "That's what I was trying to teach you. I know the hour sounds crazy getting up, but there's a purpose for it. And I said, do me a favor, ask some of your friends if they're up at that hour during the school day and if they're going to the gym, if they're doing cold showers. And they're not. And Ronnie said, yeah, none of them are. He said, wow, man, what a thing to train and teach your kids. I said, yeah, man. I said, so I do that because I want my kids to be mentally strong, mentally tough. I want them to do hard things when it's not necessary. So when it's time to do real hard things, they're ready because they're used to doing it. And he said, man, that is spot on. I said, so this is a big thing for me. I don't want soft kids. I don't want them. This world is not, it's not friendly. It's not, it's not a sweet place. This world will take you, chew you up, and spit you out like nothing. That's what this world is. Do we all want a beautiful world where it's safe and there's no problem? Of course. But if you're living in reality, you know damn well it's not going to happen. There's so much violence, there's so many things that go on in this world that you have to prepare yourself to be able to handle it, whether it be physically or mentally. A lot of it's mental because a lot of people don't have the mental capacity to deal with everything that life throws them this day, like these days. They don't. You hear about it all the time. The big thing that everybody talks about is mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health. That's all they talk about. And by this point, it's gotten to be the main excuse. Even if it's not the truth, it's became, it's become the main excuse when people can't deal with life. Oh, I have mental health issues. I need a mental health day from work because they can't handle small things that they see as difficult, which are really not difficult. They just have not prepared themselves to deal with difficult things. So I'm talking to Ronnie and I'm saying, there's a reason, that I do this. And he said, yeah. I go, which we're here at the jujitsu gym and we're watching our kids. And this is hard. And we got to talking about how I told them both of my kids, they've been getting discouraged lately because they said it's hard. And he says, tell them not to quit. He's like, look, man, I train and I train with some badasses. And he goes, and we all have an understanding when we're on that mat. But some days with a nail and other days with a hammer. This sport will humble you. Everybody comes in here, they don't have the attitude that I'm the best because they know they can get humbled really quick. This is a very difficult sport. You're always learning. Even the guys who are black belts, they're always learning. And it will humble you. But don't quit. This thing will teach you discipline. It will teach you how to handle adversity. I said, yeah, that's why they're here. And so I told him how I had told my kids. I said, listen, don't give up. And I told him exactly that. And I told him I showed him videos of Jocko talking about jujitsu and how important it is, and and Joe Rogan doing the talking about jujitsu, but also doing the cold plunge. And I shared that with my kids, and I said, I have my kids on social media now. They're teenagers now, so they're now on social media. But I said I have them follow these types of people so they always get encouragement on their timeline. I have them follow cats like, David Goggins or Cameron Haynes or Jocko Willink, um, Real World Tactical, Warrior for Christ. Um, who else? Andy Frisella. I mean, so many guys that I follow that are always putting out good content. Sean Whalen. Um, who else? I mean, just a lot of people. So I told them I have them follow these guys. So yeah, if you want to follow your music guys and people who are in sports, that's fine. But I want you to follow these guys as well because they're going to always encourage you. Anything on their timeline is going to encourage you to be great. All right. And he was like, man, that's such a good idea. He goes, me, my kids are not there yet. He's like, but that's a great idea. So, anyways, this episode came to me today while I was at the jiu-jitsu place with my kids while they were training. And I just felt like I wanted to talk to you guys about this. So, this is episode 128 of the Perfect Mess podcast. What's hard? You know, I got to thinking when I left about things that people seem, or the younger generation seem to think is hard these days. And I always thought that, you know, when I got older, I was going to be that old guy who always says, "Oh, this generation's soft and it's not like my generation." I knew that was coming. It never fails. It comes with every generation. My grandfather was like that, my dad was like that. I know I'm like that. Mm. And I'm here. That's where I'm at in my life right now. And I wanted to discuss all the things that are going on in this new generation of young adults and kids and whatnot, and how we've gotten so far away from, or so far away off our path, to where we don't actually realize what hard is. A lot of people think so many things are hard or difficult, and they're really not. It's just we've gotten so soft as a society that we've failed to train ourselves to do difficult things. So when these little pebbles come in our path, we fall apart. And it's never been more evident than today. Our young generation, our kids and the young adults who are in their 20s, they absolutely crumble when anything doesn't go their way. It's it's absolutely stunning to see how many young adults fall apart when life doesn't go their way. And it's never been more evident that they've never actually experienced what hard is. They've never experienced what difficult is. They've never experienced violence. And because of that, they think the smallest things are hard. They think the smallest things are difficult. They think the smallest things are inciting violence, and it's not. But because we've gotten so far away from the truth, we don't know what hard is. Now, I'm not speaking about me. I'm speaking about young teenagers, these young kids, the kids in their 20s. And I can say that because I'm pushing 50. I always say that here. I want to explain something to you. There's a lot of things I do with my kids on purpose because I want them to experience hard things now because they're not always going to be under my wing. I'm not always going to be there to protect them. I'm not always going to be there to help them. So it's important for me to show them and to throw them into hard things, not by themselves, with me with them. I gotta make sure I let you guys know that I'm not having my kids do hard things without me. I'm doing the hard things with them. So they see me doing it. So they understand that I would never ask them to do things that I wouldn't do. I have my kids go into the sauna and the steam room. There's not a lot of kids that can hang in there. And I'm talking about 180 degrees, sitting in there for 15 minutes in the sauna. Hot, tough to breathe. I'm talking about hotter degrees going into the steam room where you can't even see. It's so damn cloudy in there. Steam all over, but you can't see nobody. Sit in there for 15 minutes. You start to feel a burn when you breathe a little bit, and you're just drenched in sweat. And every 2 minutes, you're asking, Dad, how much time do we have left? How much time do we have left? We do these things on purpose because I want to show them these things are hard. They're not hard for me anymore because I do them regularly, but they're hard for you because you've never done them. So let's do this. Let's get through this. Let's teach yourself how to get to a point where you're no longer asking me, Dad, how many minutes left? How many minutes left? To where you just go in there, you lock in, and you get it done. Let's get to that point. It's going to be hard, but you can do it. And then the health benefits for what we're doing in this sauna, in this steam room, are immense. I have my kids Google, what are the benefits of the steam room? What are the benefits of the sauna? And then they read them and they understand. I said, you guys are athletes. This is very important for you. It's important for your muscles. It's important for your soreness. It's important for your blood flow. It's important for your inflammation. And it's important for your overall health. It's not easy. Not easy for kids. There's not a lot of kids who will do this. They get in here 2 minutes in, I got to get out. I've been here. Trust me. I've seen other parents try to bring their kids in there and they can't hack it. I have my kids do cold showers. It's hard. And if I had a cold plunge, we would do it. I don't have access to a cold plunge right now, but we do cold showers. I train them to do a hot shower first, get their soap done, and then boom, turn it to cold and go for 2 minutes. Now they're at the point I said earlier. They go into the shower right off top. Boom, cold, jump in there, let's go. Let's get it. It's not easy. It's very hard. It's winter time right now. It's cold. Those pipes under the house, they're damn near freezing. So when that water comes out, it feels like little ice picks coming out. We do it because it's because of the health benefits, but because if we can train ourselves to get through that mentally, it makes us stronger. Again, not a lot of kids do that. Not a lot of kids willing to do that. And not a lot of kids that have a father that is training them to do that, that is doing that, showing them, I'm doing it. Now it's your turn. Again, I have them Google, what are the benefits for the cold shower? And they love it. They understand now. I have a reason for doing I don't just do stuff and then just tell them we're doing it because I said. That's some weak ass shit. If you're going to train your kids to do hard stuff, you better damn well have a reason why you're doing it and tell them, explain it to them so they don't grow up hating you for you having them do difficult stuff. Explain it to them so they understand, why are we doing this? Are you just trying to be this hard ass dad, or are you trying to show us something? Are you trying to teach us something? So I explain and I have them Google on their phone, what are the benefits? We weight train. We go into the gym, we work out, we lift hard. We do workouts that are catered to what they do. They do baseball. So I don't want my kids to be power lifters, but I want them to be strong. I want them to be agile. We do a lot of plyometrics. We do a lot of body movements, but I also have them doing some weightlifting and they push themselves. I have them log in their phone, their workouts and how much weight they're doing. So they know when they go back where they're at. And then when they move up, they'll mark it down, new PR. They have a log. I showed them how to do this. My kids are usually the only two kids in the gym when we get there. But now when I go by myself, I'm starting to see more families, more dads bringing their kids. Couldn't be more proud to see that. We do hikes. Yeah, I know a lot of people do hikes, but we do hikes. We do 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mile hikes, hard hikes. And during these hikes, I teach them how to use a knife. They know how to carve stuff. They know how to cut through trees. I teach them how to use a hatchet to cut branches that are blocking when we're hiking and there's a walkway that's blocked by a fallen tree. I teach them how to use the hatchet to hack through that thing so it clears the pathway and we can walk through. They've done it for other hikers that are behind us. They'll say, "Dad, give me the hatchet." And they'll hack through this branch. And then, people behind us will be like, "Wow, that was really cool. I've never seen kids do that. That's awesome." I have them do that. Why? Because I want them to get used to using their hands. Don't be afraid of a hatchet. A lot of people think a hatchet's something to play with. It's not. It's a tool. And if you use it right, it can be very valuable. A lot of people think knives are too dangerous for kids. No, they're not. You have to teach your kids how to use a knife. What are they used for? They're not to fuck around, not to play around and throw around. Use a knife correctly. It's very valuable when you're out in the open, out hiking, camping. My kids don't think it's weird that I carry a knife on me when I go out in public. They don't. In fact, if you ask them, they'll tell you dad has a knife in every pocket of his car. Every bag that dad has a knife. His hiking bag, his everyday bag, his car, his uh, my gym bag. Everywhere I go, I have a knife. It's not unnormal to them. They get it. Speaking of knives, I've taken them target practicing. I've taught them how to shoot. I have buddies who go to the range regularly. They've taught me how to shoot and in turn help me teach my kids how to shoot. Why? So they understand what a weapon is. They understand that it's nothing to play with. They understand that it's difficult to learn how to shoot a gun. It's difficult to learn how important it is that you respect weaponry, that it's not something to play with, because this right here can end a life. And it's important that they understand not to be afraid of it. Learn how to handle it and respect it. And learning to shoot correctly is very difficult. It's not easy. I touched on jujitsu. Jujitsu is difficult. I told my oldest son, he says, "I'm so damn discouraged, Dad. These guys are handing me they're kicking my ass." I said, "Good. Keep going." He's like, "But I get so frustrated." I go, I understand that. But I promise you, if you ask that kid who's whooping you right now, he'll tell you 6 months ago, I was you. You will be that other kid next time. You got to keep working through it. It's humbling. It's hard. It's not easy. And a lot of people quit because people are so afraid of something that's going to challenge them. So they do it. Jaden, same thing. Dad, I'm frustrated. Keep going. I start telling them, if you feel more comfortable, I'm going. Listen, I have trained my kids and taught them everything. Okay. Weight training, running, you name it, hiking, shooting, everything. I've gotten in front of everything and taught them everything. This is the one thing that they started before I did, jujitsu. They have a year jump on me. I said, listen to me. If it will make it easier on you to see me getting in there and getting my butt kicked, I'm in. I'll do it. I will never ask you to do something I won't do. I'm old, man. I'm in great shape for my age, but I'm willing to do something that is going to get me out of my comfort zone. Why? Because I want you to see that I'm willing to do the same thing that you're doing. and not just talk to you from the sidelines and keep saying, keep going. And you say, you don't even understand, Dad. You've never done this. You don't understand how hard it is. I do. We do rucks. You guys know what a ruck is? It's a military where you put on this backpack, this sack that's about 100, 150 pounds in the military, and you hike miles. Some run. We were doing backpacks with weights, plates in the back of them before. Now I got us, something different. We got weighted vests now. Now those aren't necessarily rucks, but we're not in the military, so we use weighted vests now. I have a 60-pound vest, and then my other son has a 40-pound vest, and I'm getting a 20-pound vest for Jaden. But we do these things. So when we go do walks, we now put the vest on. So we're learning to work on getting our back stronger. We're having to force our back to be in position and walk straight up and down as we're walking. So we're not having bad posture, but we're also getting that work in with the weighted vest on. It's not easy. It's not. I've had plenty of people come up to us when we're doing it and they're like, man, how much weight is that? Damn, that makes the walk so much harder. It does. But we're not out here to do easy. We're out here to train to do hard. So when hard comes, it's easy for us to deal with. Are you following me on all this stuff? My kids are going to be 13 and 15. They're 12 and 14 right now. But I've been doing this with my kids since they were 7 and 5. Hard doesn't scare them anymore. When my brother-in-law Bobby comes into town, he's amazed that they don't complain when it's time to do something. Like he's very much in shape. He played water polo his whole life. He's trained jujitsu for quite some time now. Well versed in that. He's the one that helped initiate the jujitsu for our family. But when he comes into town, he does these things where he likes to run, he likes to do pull-ups, he likes to do these little circuits. And he's blown away that the kids are not complaining. They just go, "Hey, you guys want to go for a run? Let's go run some 2 miles to the school and then we'll go to the park and we'll do pull-ups," and they don't complain. Why? Because they do hard stuff regularly. This is what we do. We're just happen to do it with Uncle Bobby when he's in town now. We do wet runs. I say wet runs because a lot of people, when it gets cold outside and the rain's coming down, it's pouring, they come inside like, man, it's why I hate the rain, but come inside, put the heater on, let's watch TV. Nah, you know what we do? We go put the running shoes on, put the hoodie on, the beanie on, and we go running. Why? Not to show off, but to get ourselves mentally tough. Let's go out there, let's do it. There's got to be someone right now listening to me saying, this is just ridiculous. There's no reason to do any of that stuff. Okay. Okay. But these are the same people that when life gets a little bit difficult, they don't know how to handle it because they haven't been preparing themselves. People go through life and they don't think they need to train anything because they think someone's just going to be there to help them. There's always some gadget, some technology, some app that's going to help me get through this. Newsflash, that's not always the case. I have two things that I listed as hard, and I think some people are probably going to laugh, but I'm telling you right now, it's hard. Having faith in this day and age is hard. You say, how is having faith, something so simple as just having faith, hard? Because more and more people, less and less people have faith now. They don't. They don't believe anymore because it's easy to just say, "Oh, I don't believe in that." That hocus pocus, that magic in that book, I don't believe in that. So when you stand on business and you say, I have faith, I believe in God, I believe in Jesus Christ, I live my life by that code, you're an outcast now. Why do you think they censor so many things with the minute you mention God, the minute you mention Jesus Christ, they censor it because it's not popular anymore. So it's difficult to stand on business and say, I have faith. This is what I believe, and I stand on it. It's hard. It's not easy. It's easy to say, well, I don't know. I grew up believing in God, but I don't know now. It's so easy to say that, and a lot of people are saying that now because they don't want to be looked at as different. It's crazy because if you've spent any amount of time on social media, you see how many people, young people, are breaking down, having mental breakdowns because they say so many things are hard. I've watched people cry about having a 40-hour a week job, 40-hour job per week. Just break down on the internet. I can't handle it. 40 hours is too much. I need something like who in their right mind would work 40 hours? This is not the way life is supposed to be lived. This is just difficult. I can't handle this. Are you kidding me? Working 40 hours a week is difficult. That's 8 hours a day. But things are so different now. People are so soft now that they crumble when they have a job that is requiring them to work 8 hours a day. Don't even get me started with the pay that we are now paying people. Minimum wage out here is damn near $20. $20. But working 40 hours a week is difficult for $20. That's not difficult. That's normal. You got people complaining because somebody got their pronouns wrong. That's not hard. That's you being upset and not being happy and understanding that people don't have to play by your rules. They don't have to fall in line with your little world that you live in. The world's not going to cater to you. And you saying life is hard because somebody got your pronouns wrong is ridiculous. That is not hard. That is you making a choice to say, I want everybody to call me by these certain pronouns. And if they don't, they are not being considerate of me, and I'm going to have a mental breakdown. It's not hard. You are bringing that stuff on yourself. It's okay to have, you want to have pronouns? I'm all for it. But for you to have a mental breakdown because somebody you've never met in your life doesn't believe in pronouns and ask to call you by your name instead, offends you and hurts your feelings, that is a you problem. It is not hard. When people are getting misgendered now, listen, I don't care what you want to be. And most people don't. But here we go again. If you want someone to play by your little world, the rules that you made up in your little world that you created for yourself, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to stand in front of a normal, everyday person as a man and say, I'm a woman, and then expect that person to cater to you. Some people may, and that's great. But there are most people in this world that aren't going to do it. And we've got people running around having complete breakdowns because they feel they were misgendered. You were not misgendered. You were gendered correctly, but you are misgendering yourself. And again, that is fine. If you want to do that for yourself, if that's how you want to live your life, but that is not hard. You say, well, it's hard to be in this world because I keep getting misgendered. No, 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 no. You are misgendering yourself. And you will come across people that will respect you and call you by whatever you want to be. But I will tell you right now, most people in today's society are going to say, okay, sir, if you are a sir, ma'am, if you're a ma'am. It doesn't mean they don't care about you, but they just don't, they're not going to fall in line with this make believe world you created in your own head. Again, this is not hard. This is a hard that you brought on yourself. That's the truth. It's crazy because I've watched so many things and listened to so many things on podcasts and caught so many clips online, and I know anybody listening has done this as well. But you got people who say that if you don't um believe in transgenderism, or if you don't believe that uh males who transition should be able to compete against females, or if you don't believe that uh you should address people by their pronouns or by their gender that they choose, that you are inciting violence. I'm sorry. If you feel that is inciting violence, you don't know what violence is. You have no clue. We've lost our way. That is not violence. It's not. You've never experienced true violence if you think those things are inciting violence. People have tried to take these words and make them mean whatever they want them to mean. Violence hasn't changed, but people have tried to change what it is. I can tell you what violence is. I know. I've been there quite a few times in my life. I've been shot at. I've had somebody die in my arms. I've been there. I've watched other people get shot and killed. I got an uncle that came back from the Vietnam War missing his leg, now has two missing legs. I got a buddy named Kyle who came back from Fallujah, can't hear in his ear no more because some shrapnel came through off a mortar that came through and blew up their food barracks and killed his best friend in front of him. That's violence. That is real violence. Not being addressed by your pronouns or misgendering you is not inciting violence. You have no clue what violence is. You don't know what hard is. That is not hard. We got a generation of people that of young adults, of kids that think the world should be catering to them. Nobody is saying you can't have your pronouns. Nobody is saying that you can't be gender fluid or whatever the hell you want to be. Nobody is saying that you can't be a transgender or whatever it is you want to be. What they're saying is, I don't have to play by your rules because that's your world. I live here in the real world. That's what they're telling you. And they're also telling you, do not call me a bigot. Do not call me an asshole. Do not call me a racist. Do not call me all these things because I don't play by your fantasy world rules. Those are your rules. They're not mine. This is not hard. We're losing our way. We don't know what hard is anymore. Because all of these things I'm talking about, you guys seem to think are hard, and they're not. Body acceptance. We keep pushing this narrative that being overweight, obese, out of shape, unhealthy, and damn near ready to die is beautiful. It's not. You're not going to sell that to someone like me or anybody else. It's not. And if you went to a doctor, they will tell you you are on the verge of dying if you don't take care of yourself. Someone's not trying to hurt your feelings. What's hard is doing the work to lose that weight. But now we've got a generation who feel like the world should cater to them. Big is beautiful. Okay, I'll ride with that. We've got something that hit the news that said, they're trying to pass a law where if you're bigger than normal, you should get the second seat for free. At what cost? So instead of doing the hard work of getting your health under control, the world is supposed to adjust to make you feel comfortable. Listen to me. There are a lot of things that we don't have control over in our life. Okay? Who we have as family, the color of our skin, our nationality, our parents, all these things. We don't have control over that. But when it comes to your body, you have control over that. You can do the work to get yourself where you need to be. So you have a longer life. That's the hard part. There are a lot of things that are really hard. Poverty is hard. I came from poverty. Poverty is hard. Abuse is hard. Child abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. I came from that as well. Watching one of your parents get smacked around like a kid, knowing that one of your family members or your friends are getting abused by their parents or a family member. That's hard. Loss of life is hard. Losing a child, losing a parent, losing a spouse, losing a close friend. That is hard. Raising kids is hard. It's not easy because you got kids, you got a a small kid looking at you saying, "I'm going where you're going. I'm following you, so I hope you get this right because I'm following your lead." That is a lot of responsibility, and you have to make changes so your life falls in line with doing the right things. So this kid that is following you, looking at you for guidance, goes down the right path. That is not easy. That is hard. Marriage, divorce is hard. There's nothing easy about marriage. And if someone tells you that marriage is easy, they're lying to you. It is a constant work in progress. It is not easy. And if you think it is, try divorce. Divorce is hard, it's painful. If you have kids, it's even more painful. That is hard. Your life completely changing and losing everything that you thought was true in your life is hard. Separating from your kids going in between two homes is hard. It fucks with your head and it fucks with your heart. That is hard. Homelessness is hard. Trying to figure out how you're going to get yourself out of this hole, having pride in saying, I'm not going to reach out to somebody to save me. I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to sleep in my car. I'm going to sleep in my office. I'm going to sleep wherever I can, but I am going to figure this out. I'm not going to reach out for somebody to help me. I'm going to figure this out so I can get stronger and get better. That is hard. It's not easy. Disabilities, deformities are hard. We take these things for granted every day, that we can get up out of bed and walk around, that we can use our hands to grab things, that we have sight, that we can smell, we can taste, we can listen, we can see, that we can go to the gym, lift weights, that we can drive a car. We take all these things for granted, but think about somebody who has deformities, who has a disability, goes through life in a wheelchair, goes through life, can't see, has to figure out how to function. That's hard. That is real hard. That is difficult. And then you meet some of these people and they got smiles on their face, big smiles. And they're some of the happiest people. Why? Because they've learned to adjust to their hard. That's hard. Jail and prison is hard. Sometimes that's self inflicted, other times you get caught for some bullshit that wasn't you and you end up there. Jail and prison is hard. I got friends that came out of jail and prison completely fucked in the head, have the hardest time adjusting to the outside world, society, because what they seen and what they went through behind those walls and those bars fucked them up forever. That's hard. Trying to survive and make sure that you're okay and you make it out of there. That's hard. You know what else is hard? War. War is hard. We send kids to war, it feels like every year. Kids, 18, 19, 20, 21. to countries they've never been, fighting against people they have no idea why and have never had a problem with, but they're there. And you know what they're trying to do? I got to figure out how I'm going to make it through this so I can get back home to my parents, so I can get back home to my girlfriend, so I can get back home to my wife and kid. I got to figure out how I'm going to get through this. I don't know why we're here fighting these people, but I'm here now. And I got to figure this out because I got to get home. That's hard. Do you hear what I'm saying? Do you understand the stuff that I'm explaining to you is hard and how when you take those things and you compare them to what I was telling you that our next generation is saying is hard, how it doesn't even compare? How because they've never experienced real violence or real struggle or real hard, they don't understand that they sound crazy when they complain about something so minute being difficult and they have complete breakdowns because they've never tried to push themselves to do anything that has any resistance. People who are raped, women who are raped and trafficked, that's hard. And that happens so much nowadays. All you hear about nowadays is how young women are being trafficked, how older women are being trafficked, how they're being followed, picked up, taken, and then they come and you find them years later and you realize that they were trafficked by somebody. Think about how hard that is. You got a family somewhere and they have no idea you're in this other part of the world and someone is paying money to abuse you. That is hard. You want to talk about a mind fuck? That's a mind fuck. Come back to your home, to your family after that. Tell me how you adjust. You don't because you're messed up for the rest of your life. That's hard. A lot of people have so much to say about our first responders, the police, the firemen, the all these people who are first responders, the paramedics, all these people. But you have no clue what these guys see every day. You go to your job at Starbucks, you know, you're a barista at Starbucks or whatever coffee shop, you make your little coffee all day and you got your little you know, your little badges everywhere that have your little sayings on it. You do all your little thing and you go home and you complain about how hard your job is. These guys go to work every day and they see shit that you would never want to see in your life. They deal with people that you would never want to see in your life. They see dead bodies. They see kids who've been molested. They see wives who've been beaten. They see people who've been shot, killed, stabbed, decapitated. They see car accidents of mangled bodies. They see homelessness. They see victims of all sorts of violence. And then they clock out and they go home. And then they see their son or their daughter and their wife. And the wife says, "How was your day, honey?" Ask yourself, is your day at the coffee shop as hard as theirs? I'm just curious. Just curious. Being alone and in solitude because you've lost everything. is hard. I've been there too, because that is where you really have a mental breakdown. And that is where you start questioning whether you want to be here anymore, because you don't have anybody around you. And the people that you thought loved you are gone. And you're by yourself. And it doesn't feel like there's any way out. That's hard. People turn to the bottle, people turn to drugs, people turn to a weapon, and they try to end it. That's hard. Before I close on this, I really want you guys to understand something. I live my life with love. So even the people that I don't agree with, the community I don't agree with, I still lead with love. But you really got to ask yourself, is everything that I've been complaining about in life hard? Or have I just not done enough hard things to prepare myself for the little shit that I'm complaining about? And I can tell you right now, your answer, if you're being 100% true to yourself, is going to be, I haven't done anything that's really difficult in my life, because the stuff that I've been complaining about really isn't that hard. I haven't been through shit. There's a reason why I do all the things I do with my kids. It's because I refuse to allow them to be the next part of this generation complaining about some BS like I shared on this podcast. I won't. I won't allow them to be any part of that. I want them to do difficult things so they understand when life throws them that curveball, that shit is easy and they smack that curveball out the park, because all they've been doing is training to do hard things. That's all I got. I love you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have and you think someone should hear it, please share it like always. Um, Leave a comment down below in the comment section on YouTube. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you are listening on Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you listen to the podcast, please follow, subscribe, comment, review, do all of that. All right. My website is raymolina.com. You can see all my writings, blogs that I put up there. You can also listen to the podcast. I have a shop there with all kinds of merchandise. Please check it out. Again, it's raymolina.com. The podcast is on Instagram and TikTok. It is The Perfect Mess Pod. And my Instagram and TikTok for my personal stuff is It's Ray Molina. Follow me there on both of those handles. And the YouTube is youtube.com/ at the perfect mess pod. If you are watching, thank you so much. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell right in the corner. If you are not watching and you are listening, please jump on your phone or your computer and hit subscribe and the notification bell so you get all the updates. All right. I always tell you guys there are a lot of people that have hit me about donations. It's not a requirement, but if you would like, I do accept donations if you want to help out. I have Cash App, and that is $ It's Ray Molina, and my Venmo is at It's Ray Molina. That's all I got. Like I always say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess, but for me, it is the perfect mess. Peace.